Morning everyone, happy Easter Monday and welcome back to the My Football Writer channel. It's Freddie Humphrey Wakefield walking in the streets of Brighton off to the train station because it's a little away day trip, isn't it? Bit of a really different video this one, more of a match day experience, sort of old school Talk Norwich City vibes here on the MFW channel. But today, Millwall away at the Den. Looking forward to this one, even if Norwich's away form is tragic. What is it? 2 wins in the last 14 away games, only 2 wins in the last 13 overall, 5 defeats in the last 7. Yeah, Norwich have been quite dire, especially on Good Friday. If you want to know my thoughts, watch the last video on the channel, but it's a new game today. And Millwall are in a bit of bother. Their main 2 goalkeepers both got injured on Friday in their warm-up, one of which is out for 9 months. I think Joe Bryan and Yafet Tanganga are out, so Millwall are weakened, but Norwich could still be weakened, although Angus Gunn has now had his partner's had the baby, he's not had it, but no, their newborn child has arrived, and so he may be in the squad, so who knows on that one, unless JHT has given him a bit of more time off to sort of be with the family, and which is perfectly understandable. But you know, if George Long is in goal, I worry for him because he will get dog's abuse. But anyway, we'll catch up with you when we get to the Liverpool Street Spoons, because that's probably the closest away pub you're going to get to Millwall. But yeah, Jack will be there, Henry will be there, Will even be there. So all 4 of us, even though we live at different ends of the country, we're all going to be there at the Den. But no, I'll see you when we get there, and hopefully Norwich can get the business done. I'll give you my score prediction, Hurley. I'll go 1-1. Weatherspoons, the things you do to me. Lovely food. Jack's here with his food. Oh, what's he wearing? Oh, Jesus wept. Look at him on the beach. Christ, he's got his pint there as well. Now, as I said last time, we don't encourage drinking, but no. Anyway, how are you feeling?
Absolutely nothing. I'm here for the day out. We're on the beach. Vibes are good. I might get picked out by a few Millwall boys, but you know, it's what you got to take for the team, isn't it? You know. So yeah, let's raise a pint to our Lord and Saviour George Long.
Anyway, I gave my score prediction earlier. I said 1-1. What's your thoughts?
I think we will take the lead, and the away end will go mad, and then in the second half we'll capitulate 2-1.
Right, fair enough. We'll see Will Grant and Henry Miller in a minute, but for now, enjoy the attire. Right, Norwich's line-up announced. Probably the biggest news is Vicente Reyes starts in goal. There's Dylan Jones, youth player on the bench, gets his first matchday involvement in the squad. But no sign of Elliot Miles, who's just signed a new contract. He's not in the squad whatsoever. Angus Gunn is still not in the squad, so it looks as if he's been most likely granted a bit of paternal leave by Johannes Torap, which is to arguably be expected. He's just had a child. But yeah, Norwich, couple of changes made. Looks like Svartau is playing on the right wing with Sainz on the left, Sargent through the middle. But George Long is not in goal on his return to the Den. But Jack's here with me again. Jack, it's a very interesting lineup, isn't it? You look at it overall. Reyes in goal, but what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, last time Reyes was in goal, it was that debacle against Sheffield Wednesday, and I think, yeah, you know, we've always been a big advocate for him. We've always wanted him to do well, and clearly he's backed by coaches and you know, the academy and things like that. So it's a free hit. We've got nothing to play for. I think there will be question marks of what Angus is doing. Okay, he's had a child, give him extra leave, but you could have a situation where he's not playing today. He's got 2 more games potentially to play for Norwich City. So that's, you know, a shame that we don't get to see him here today. The sun's shining in South London. It's coming out to be a beautiful day. We've got absolutely, again, nothing to play for. Again, I echo your thoughts about Elliot Miles, and again, Jurasek was assured to us that he would be in the squad. Nowhere to be seen. You know, there's going to be questions asked, and I think, you know, if there is a bad performance today with no goals, you're going to look at our, you know, lack of attacking options. But yes, Sargent and Sainz up front in the Golden Boot race. Do they want to make it hotter? Maybe. But speaking of hotter, got my sunnies on. It is baking in wherever we are. Bermondsey?
Yes.
What? No, I don't even know. We're in London. Beautiful, beautiful London.
No, we are in London. Hopefully it's not a horror day in the capital for Norwich. So there's a couple of seasons ago when they came here, they lost 4-0. If it's anything like that, which it could be expected after Norwich were tonked by Portsmouth on Friday. But we'll wait and see. And we also have to wait and see when Henry and Will's coaches are actually going to arrive. Apparently it's touch and go if they'll make kick-off. So if we miss a goal within the first 5 minutes, you know who to blame. Half time at the Den, somehow, some way, Norwich are only a goal down, and that's because they scored right at the end of the half. Shane Duffy from the set piece. That's Norwich's 5th set piece goal from, well, of their last 6 goals, 5 have been from set pieces. Maybe Nick Stanley's all right, but no, Norwich have been dreadful. You know, you can't let the scoreline really suggest that they've been in it, because they haven't. They've been really bad. Even Henry, who's now sat with us, he's been here 10 minutes and he's even saying how bad it is. But no, Norwich have been really poor. Just on the ball, clumsy, off it, no intent. They are playing like they know it's over, but now they're back in it at a good time. They can believe in themselves. So who knows, they may go on and do something, but it's perhaps unlikely. But we'll come to Jack first, because he watched the whole first half. Jack, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, 2 very Millwall goals. One from a kind of scrappy non-clearance, and another right at our end from a free kick, header in. Can't really say that Reyes was at fault for any of them, but we just look spineless. We look weaker than Millwall. They look much stronger than us. They look purposeful when they get on the ball. We look a little bit lost. We're trying to little flicks and tricks in the middle of the park when, you know, all you really want is just a long ball, just a utilisation of space. It's would have been a much dire experience, but yeah, we're back in it. We've got a goal to go. We've got 45 minutes, so who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Well, Henry, Jack said there he thinks Norwich are toothless really in attack, and they're trying a bit of flicks and tricks. They've not been good on the ball, but you've only been here about 10 minutes. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I can't comment on the first goal because I wasn't here. Jeff on coach 4 on Club Cabbage, he just thought he'd save us all the disappointment and started driving around London, going on London Bridge, because why not? So yeah, don't know if we're shouting out Jeff or if we're criticising Jeff. But anyway, I missed the first goal, got in, and within 10 minutes we were already 2-0 down. I think Jack said the word spineless there, and he's completely right. For that second goal, they just shut down, didn't they? Really, if we think about it, they just shut down, and Millwall were first to it, like they've been first to every single ball. There was a bit just before half time when Oscar Schwartau had it up the wing, and he was just bullied off, and it just shows how physical Millwall are, and that's the reason why they are where they are in the league, and we are where we are. I think every time Millwall go forward, they look like scoring, whereas for us, we're so determined to drive drive it through to the middle of the park and wait for space to appear. And then when it does go out on the wings, we don't really know what to do with it. How many times have we seen Jack Stacey as that overlapping right back, and we just haven't used him? And then we try and pass it and do these little tricks, and it just hasn't come off. And luckily, as you said, we've been second best by far. But luckily we're still in it somehow. Shane Duffy with a bullet header, rising like a salmon, as we've all said, to get Norwich back into it. Do I think we'll actually kick on from there? No, I don't. I still expect us to lose. But hopefully, you never know, they could prove us all wrong and get the result.
Yeah, we hope so. I completely agree with the pair of them, but it's quite fitting really. They've just brought out a Millwall U team to walk around the side of the pitch just in front of us. That's quite fitting because it has been men against boys in that first half, but Norwich are in this somehow. Can they get all 3 points? Full time at the Den, Millwall 3, Norwich City 1. Norwich was so bad again, just defensively all over the place, so many individual errors. You can't really ultimately pin the performance on the manager because every individual was shocking, really bad. Just defensively, no sense of any alertness from them, and midfield just giving the ball away in transitions all the time. The forward line have never really touched the ball. Sargent ran the most, but that's because he was trying to get the ball. He didn't get any service apart from long clips over the top, and all 3 goals come from sloppy errors in possession. It's so poor, and the reaction from the away end at full time says it all. Chants of "you're not fit to wear the shirt," booing nearly every player. Says a lot when the only 2 players who stayed out and clapped the whole time were the 2 Manchester City loanees in Callum Doyle and Jacob Wright. It says so much to me personally, but just ultimately Norwich nowhere near good enough. Never got out of first gear. Lucky to get a goal really. It was their only shot on target, and again just looks so bad. You do wonder how much longer will the project be backed. Fans seem as if they've had their say, but really bad. But let's go to Jack Wright.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Millwall weren't that good. It is one of the main takeaways. They really, were not fantastic and free-flowing and brilliant. They were just a little bit more effort than us, and yeah, it just feels a bit all over the place, and it's incredibly disappointing because we know these players are capable of more. They just seem to have lost all sense of rhythm, all sense of togetherness. It must have been difficult for those players at the end to hear those negative chants, and it's deserved because at no point did you think we'd get back into the game. A very early goal to concede. Again, you score right at the end of the first half to set up a brilliant second half where we started with a bit more oomph but did not get going. And yeah, they had a disallowed goal literally just before they scored. It was exactly a carbon copy, so it was like a rehearsal essentially. Header from a near post. It's so Championship. 2 headers from set pieces have undone us.
Where do I even start with that? That was very hideous viewing, I think, for probably most fans that even watched that game on the telly or even watched it live. It's really hard to kind of describe your thoughts right now because obviously you have so much kind of thoughts and ideas probably in your head about what's right and what isn't right. But I think what is right for sure, 100%, is that Norwich are underperforming majorly right now. Obviously, I think the league stats say it. I think we are probably the worst team in the league right now if you were to look at the form guide since March. When you have the likes of Borges Signs and Josh Sargent in your attacking 2, that is quite frankly awful. That is honestly terrible, awful. Just any negative lexis which you can think of to describe that. That is terrible from Norwich. But the major issues which I have, I think it's very, very easy to say players don't try or players aren't trying to an extent. But what I'm majorly getting from this side is I'm getting a side where I feel like they aren't listening to tactical instructions very, very well. It feels like they're either way too late for the press or they just sit in and they just show no aggression. And it just ended in an absolute car crash. I've lost count the amount of times I've said, obviously on this channel and even actually when speaking to other fans as well, the amount of times that we concede so much space due to making absolutely brain-dead decisions. Honestly, the number of times now it is quite frankly woeful. Defensively, we are honestly horrific. I obviously maybe I'm being a bit harsh here. Maybe looking back at this right now, but I think obviously probably more speaking from the heart right now. Obviously after going after quite a long coach trip, which I probably actually do regret doing now, but. That was hideous from Norwich, just way too much space conceded. And I just think that game, although it finished 3-1, it could have easily been 5. It could have easily been literally the same score line as pretty much probably the game on Friday, but obviously less goals for Norwich. It felt like Millwall were played, obviously fair play to Millwall, they played really, really well, but Norwich were awful, so off it. And Millwall were dominating from minute 1, although maybe Norwich had a decent little start towards the start of the game. But second half, absolutely embarrassing, woeful, because we allowed the game to play how they wanted it to be played. I think the way how we managed to defend crosses was appalling. And it felt like every set piece that would come in, I think every Norwich fan would be absolutely bricking it. I think they were, because the amount of times Millwall defenders, attackers, or literally any Millwall tall player would catch the ball, it would be a goal. It would be a goal. And it is so simple. And I was talking about maybe last week that maybe set pieces are probably getting better. Nah, absolutely not.
So, it's the morning after the night before, and quite possibly that is the worst away day I've ever been on. Yes, I sat with both Jack and Freddie for the game, or for the 3/4 of the game that I saw, because the coaches were late, but you knew that already. But the reason why I didn't record a bit after the final whistle with them was because they were late on the way there, and I really didn't want to be stranded at the Den on my bank holiday Monday. I couldn't really think of anything worse, so I've decided to do a little bit of a post-match now after I've finished work, and I've had time to sleep on the abysmal result that Norwich City put in yesterday. It finished Millwall 3, Norwich City 1. As mentioned, I only saw 2 of the goals, but the two goals I did see were absolutely horrendous defending. And the thing is with Norwich, we made it so easy for Millwall. Millwall didn't have to get out of second gear to beat Norwich. We were the victim of our own downfall. And yeah, we just brought it on ourselves. I think the way we're trying to play just through the middle, we haven't got the bodies and the men to play that style effectively. I think, and I said this on Canary Call after the game, I think the fact that we are the second highest goal scorers in the league behind Leeds, and that, you know, we've come away from so many games praising basically everyone on that pitch. I think the system can work, and can work really well, and that's why I think I've still got a slither of faith left in Johannes Hoftorp. But the players just seem to have lost him, and for me that's the most important thing. I'm probably more leaning towards Torap in rather than Torap out, but ultimately it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Freddie or Will or Jack thinks, or what you think. All that matters is what the players think, and yesterday's performance was a glaring indicator that something needs to change, and that maybe, just maybe, they've lost faith in Johannes Hoftorp. And once you've started to lose the players and a large proportion of the fan base, then the writing's on the wall. So it'll be interesting to see where Norwich go next and whether he'll get the summer or not. I think he's probably deserved that with everything that's gone on. But yeah, it's really tricky times for Norwich. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we go next. But another thing from yesterday, obviously, Shane Duffy I've seen he's had a lot of criticism for that performance, but I thought he was one of the only ones who actually put themselves about a bit. He made 2 key blocks, a really good interception, and a really good goal as well, I thought. Sort of rising like a salmon almost, and making sure that ball ended up in the back of the net in first half stoppage time. So I actually think Shane Duffy played really well. Jose Cordoba, on the other hand, was awful. There's no pulling punches here. He gave so many balls away, and I think for one of the Shane Duffy blocks, it literally comes from Cordoba just scuffing a clearance, and stuff like that isn't good enough. Yes, he needs time, and yes, it seems like Cordoba's not going anywhere, but you cannot perform like that. I feel like one of the shining players was Liam Gibbs when he came on. He's spent so much time out through injury this season. But he came on and did show that bit of tenacity and did want to take players on. And I guess someone else we should talk about is Ono Hernandez. And to me, I think his head's completely gone as well. He can blame no one but himself for not scoring yesterday. He always said he wants to add goals to his game, and maybe if he did that, he'd be a decent player. But when you're in that position one-on-one with the keeper, yes, you've got Sargent to your right, but you have to bury it, you have to shoot. And the fact that he didn't, and he went to pass the ball, I don't think you can give any excuses to Ono Hernandez. Yes, he is yes, he loves this club, and yes, he is a brilliant servant to this club, but that just shows that his time is up and we need to move on, really. So it'll be interesting to see where Norwich go from here. It's an awful result, and hopefully we can get through the last 2 games of the season without defeat. Although Middlesbrough away, I'm not too confident about. But we'll go again next season, and it'll be remain to be seen whether we can push or not next season. I think it's going to be a huge summer, probably the biggest summer in over a decade for Norwich. So they need to get a few things right. You've got Josh Sargent, who'll probably go. Borja Sainz will probably go. So it'll be difficult, but hopefully we can get in the reinforcements, get in Jacob Wright on a permanent deal, and start to push and start to hopefully build a playoff charge with better players and a better defence.
Anyway, that is that from all of us at the MFW channel. Norwich lose 3-1 away at Millwall. Their 6th defeat in their last 8 matches. As Will said, Norwich the worst team in the league since March the 1st. That's 1 win in 10 since March the 1st. But we hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit of a different video for you all. We'll see you for the next one of ours on the MFW channel. We'll see you most likely for a podcast, I would believe, after the Easter debacle, but we will certainly see. Goodbye for now, and see you then.